base case scenario here. Now we're going to adjust our plus or minus 10% to be able to do some analysis. As you know, the secret to doing the spreadsheet correctly was to put all these numbers in with regard to their percentages and the amounts that they were in. And make sure we get the percentages in here because that's very important to get to the formulas so it's easy to adjust. For example, we have our $400,000 in January sales, and that gives us a net income of $80,600 and a balance sheet at $77,100. If we change that to $390,000, enter, and we don't change anything else, that should go all the way through the spreadsheet and turn down at the end. We have less net income, and our balance sheet has changed also. So when you look at the way you want to adjust this, all we have to do is change these numbers and the spreadsheet should completely change. Now remember, December is already done. That's an actual number. These are projections for the first quarter. We're trying to figure out what our balance sheet would look like if we had this quarter, if sales come in as they're supposed to. So I'm going to put this back to 400,000 back where it was. Then I'm just going to go down here to the bottom and hit right click, move or copy, and then this move or copy dialog box. We're going to create a copy. Okay. So now we have this exact copy of the spreadsheet. If we click on it, we can rename it. And I'm going to rename it minus 10%. Enter. So now we have that. All I should have to do is go up here and do January, which is 10% of 400,000 is 40,000, obviously, so this is 360. I can do that in my head. 90% of 600,000 is 540,000, so that's done. And 30% or 10% is 30,000, so it's 270,000. For the March quarter, we're going to do April here, 180,000. If you decide you want the computer or the spreadsheet to do this math for you, remember you're referencing this cell, so be careful that it doesn't flow through the program. So if you grab this cell and start dragging it around, the link to that cell is going to follow you too. So just be cautious of changing or grabbing and dragging cells because they impact the formulas. So we have all of our data here. We look down at the bottom to get our spreadsheet total, and we have 39,000 net income. We have much less, obviously, because we have less sales. Our balance sheet balances, and we are done with the minus 10% base case with one exception. The only thing we didn't automate in this spreadsheet was the borrowing and repayment because we need to maintain our cash balance. So our cash balance has to be 30,000. We've obviously borrowed too much here since it's a cash balance of 41,000. We borrow $1,000 increments with 38,300 short. We got to have 30,000 on top of that, so that's 68,300. So we have to borrow $69,000 to make sure we have our cash flow. Now we have cash flow of 69,000. That gives us 30,000 here in the first quarter, the first month, January. Now we're short on cash the rest of the time, so we have to adjust here. Now I'm not going to go ahead and adjust this for you. I'm going to let you adjust that. You can see that this is the only place in the spreadsheet that you have to adjust, and that should still end up with a balance sheet that balances. But other than this minor adjustment for borrowing, this whole spreadsheet works by just changing this amount. And if you didn't need to borrow anything, it would be a piece of cake to do to change with it, to change it. In addition to that, we can change things like cash sales, we can change credit sales, inventory paid, when purchasers are paid, other things in the spreadsheet. So these are the kinds of things that allow you to do analysis. And so the next part of the project will be running through things and coming up with other analysis. For example, what if we didn't pay for our inventory for another month? How much would that save us in interest? Or what if our customers paid us sooner? Or what if we reduced our cost of goods sold by 1% or 2%? What would be the difference in the net income? So you can change that very easily once you set the problem up correctly. So that's what the goal is, to set the problem up correctly, and then in the future when you need to modify things or when you want to do analysis, you shouldn't have any problem. It should be really, really quick. So if you have any questions, obviously get a hold of me. That is adjusting your spreadsheets.